What is up, Mike? Let's dive into this because this is actually a great question. A lot of people go through this. I go through it every single day. Every single person on high level goes through it. So let's dive deep, right? What we're going to do is I'm going to dump everything I know in regards to email best practices. And then also we're going to refer to what high level also lets us know in regards to how to best, set up our email and, our email practices to basically give us the best chances to get into that inbox, right? Because that's kind of what we all want to do. When we send out an email, we want to make sure that email goes into the inbox and nowhere else, right? And this is what I've learned over the last 2-3 years. From being a brand newbie to learning from the big boys that are sending, a million plus emails a month, right? So number one, the biggest thing that I've learned is that no matter what you do, eventually you're going to go to spam. I have learned that over and over again, and it's one of those things where it's just inevitable, especially when it comes to volume. But there is a lot of good practices that we can do, and a lot of things that are in the setup side that will avoid us going into spam right away. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's unpack this real quick. So basically, Mike, I know you're receiving 20 inbound leads per day. You're looking to ramp that up, and also you have done a few things, right? So you've connected the Gmail inbox SMTP, which is cool. I've done that too, and it was hitting the primary inbox for a minute, but after a week now, basically it killed the email reputation, and the emails are now landing in spam. So tips and tricks. Basically, I'm going to show you in this video what I do. We're also going to go over to the best practices that GHL says to resolve this and to give us the best chances. Also, I will show you a third party that I'm now doing research in, but I haven't used it personally, but I will still give you that in here too. All right. So let's unpack. Number one, the best thing you can do in regards to high level right away when you open up a new sub account is to create a dedicated domain. Okay. This is the best thing you can do in regards to email deliverability. And as you can see here in our case, right, I have it here. So lc.gohighLevelStarterKit.com. That is for my low ticket. But basically, I am using that one right now. Now, a big thing in regards to the dedicated domains, super simple in regards to setting this up, right? You have to go over here to dedicated domain and IP. You add a new one, right? Add a domain. And then from there, you can either add a root domain or a subdomain. In this case, I usually always say add a subdomain because you can always add multiple subdomains and it acts as like a new sender. Okay. But step one here is just to set this up properly. Okay. Because most people think they got the SSL issued, they got a dedicated domain, they're good to go. No. So there's a few things here. Number one, when you go to set up your domain and you're going to verify the domain itself, make sure you're adding now this one right here, which does not add automatically. Okay. So the DMARC is very, very important nowadays. It's basically one of the first kind of system spam filters. If you don't have that, it doesn't really trust you. So that's kind of one of the first things you want to do, right? So other than adding a dedicated domain, you want to make sure you have your DMARC set up properly. Okay. And that's just putting in a text record with this as the host and this as the value. Okay. That's the beginner. Of course, there's like 2 other levels to DMARC, but let's not get into that right now. The main thing is just make sure you have a DMARC, because most of the times when you do verify all of this, it will actually let you to go through without adding it, right? Because it's not mandatory. But this is a big thing in regards to deliverability. Okay, they're checking that. So make sure that is added. Number 2, when you go back into your dedicated domain, you're going to see that this name and email, the headers, are not set up. Okay, and if you do not have this set up, guess what? It's going to be bad, right? This is going to be bad for you. So make sure you go over here, click on the little 3 dots, set headers, and put in a good from name and a good from email. Okay. This one right here, the whatever you started with, whatever the domain that you added, it has to be there. If I go here and I put ghlstarterkit.com, it won't let me. Okay. And this is because it must match the sending address. This is very, very important. So make sure it's not going to let you, but in this case, whatever you added as that dedicated domain, make sure that's the one you're using. Okay. Like this. Okay. Awesome. That is basically the most important one. Now, here's a very big thing that most people don't know is that you can add multiple ones of these. Okay. So number one, when you're starting up, don't go right away to start sending a bunch of emails. You want to ramp up with a warm up, and I'm going to show you kind of what that ramp up looks like. But first start it, right? And start warming these up. And the most people don't know is that you can actually add multiple one of these guys. Okay. You can add multiple domains and multiple subdomains, right? So if I wanted to be very, very conservative, I would add, LC, email, mail, USA, go, multiple subdomains, right? If I'm, let's say I want to do 1,000, 2,000 emails a day, and I only want to send 100 emails per subdomain, that's how I would do it, right? I would use that, create multiple ones. And then once you have done that, go over here to domain configuration. And as you can see here, you can split, right? If you have multiple, you can click on all the subdomains that you have, and you can split the email sends from different subdomains. Okay, this is going to be very big in regards to email deliverability. If you are you have a whale of a list, right, and you're doing like 100,000, 200,000 sends a month, then it gets a little bit more trickier, right? In that case, you would definitely want to create a dedicated IP. So that's this right here. Dedicated IPs right now are about, I think, $59 a month. And this is really if you're sending more than 100,000 emails per month. And you can easily do that by going to your agency level. And now, as you can see here, I don't have Rebill on my account right now because this is, of course, my account. But as you can see here, that it costs $59 a month. If you are under an agency, they might upsell it for, 1.5 more or 3 times more. But in this case, right, the cost is $59 a month if you want a dedicated IP. And those are really for whales of a list, right? If you're just starting out, you have 20,000 people on your list, you really don't need it. As long as you have multiple dedicated domains, you're warming them up and you're taking it little by little. But remember, eventually they are going to get banned. They're going to go to spam, right? This is going to happen. So this is the beauty about creating multiple subdomains and buying brand new domains, right? They're very cheap and it's very fast, right? You can set up a dedicated domain today in less than 20 minutes, maybe even faster than that. But of course, it's the warm-up period, right? That's a big thing, right? Setting it up is super simple. You can have multiple ones. You can warm up multiple ones at the same time. But it's fast and it's easy to fix in that sense, right? Like, for example, Mike, he started off, he connected the Gmail SMTP, which this can be done, by the way, over here. So if I go over here to back to SMTP service, if I go over here to add service, I can add one of those big guys. Like, for example, if I have a Google Workspace account, I can add a Gmail here. Okay. These are good, but like how it's going to be very good if you have like a company email that you've been using for a minute, but at the same time, it can also just land you in the same exact place. And these are a little bit harder to create new ones, right? Like if I'm going to create a brand new G Suite or Google Workspace, that's an additional cost, right? Monthly cost. And, it's going to be brand new, right? It's a lot harder to create those and keep on using different SMTPs. That's why I kind of always go back to the dedicated domain one. Now let's go into kind of best practices. And I'm going to put this here for us in this because this is kind of a really good, it's a really good detailed kind of support doc that goes through everything when it comes to email sending from the experts, right? From the people that own the actual system. So, here's a good one that I wanted to kind of go through, which is I have a dedicated domain and my emails are going to spam, right? If you're just sending out your first emails with your new domain, it's normal for them to go to spam. Why? Because it's not warmed up, it has no reputation, and you're building that up, right? So follow the steps in the guide. There's a full guide here that's going to actually help you improve that. But here's the thing. Here's the one that I wanted to kind of review with you guys. If you have had your dedicated domain for a while, right, and or you have already sent hundreds or thousands of emails, it is genuinely best to create a new dedicated sending domain rather than attempting to fix your current ones, right? So if you see that you sent over a few thousand emails already and they're all going to spam, no one's getting it, create a new domain. Something happened with that one, right? Create a new dedicated subdomain. It's going to be way easier. As you can see here, it says, they even say it, making a new sending domain is easy. You just need to add a new subdomain. No need to purchase an entirely new domain, right? Just a subdomain. As long as you change, like if I would change this right now from LC to Go, this was reset it, right? This will actually get me better deliverability if like the domain, of course, is not chocked, right? Because that also happens. Like if your main domain, your root domain is in spam lists everywhere, then of course that's not going to fix it. But if it's just brand new, right, and of course maybe you didn't warm up the one properly, you can just switch it to a new subdomain, and like that, it will give you better email deliverability if you follow the guide, if you warm up properly, and you have all the little things, right? But it's very easy to basically make a new one. Of course, if you think about it too, I can always create, like for example, go HighLevelStarterKit.com, this huge email or URL, is not my root domain. It's not my main one, right? So this is kind of what I like to do. I like to have, like, for example, my main website right now is GHLStarterKit.com, right? The shorter version. I'm not using that for emails, okay? I bought a brand new domain to start and warm up and use that for emails, okay? And later on, if something happens to this domain, I don't care. I just get a new one, right? Not the root, not the main one that I have. I just keep on using other sub ones that I can be using. All right, cool. Again, of course, implement DMARC. This is really, really big right now in regards to just simple system checks. So that I would definitely do. Let's see here. Let's keep on going over here. I wanted to show you a few things here. So dedicated domains, easy, simple to do. This is very big when it comes to cold outreach. These are some good tips here. So for example, email validation, right? Everything in regards to, your company settings. That's a very, very big thing to do nowadays, especially if you're doing cold email. Make sure you're turning on email validation. Make sure you're turning on mark email invalid for hard bounce. This is super, super big. Send low volume, especially in the beginning, right? Drip them out slower than you think. And what this means is, like, if you're looking at one dedicated domain, don't do more than 200 emails a day, right? And that would be like, Josh, that's not a lot. Yeah, I know. It's not a lot. That's why you can create 10 dedicated domains to send out 100, 150. And like that, you can actually start sending out 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 emails a day, right? Just the way I would do it. Only send emails after your domain is warmed up, right? That's very true. Don't send cold emails using your primary sending domain. That is also very true, right? Don't use your main domain. That's why we encourage subdomains and dedicated domains. Cool. And this is kind of why I don't do the Google SMTP anymore, right? Because sometimes that's kind of like using my main domain, and I wouldn't really do it in that way. Let's see here. This is something new that they just added, by the way. So if you are using those Gmail, right, you can actually go over here to Postmaster tools, and you can connect your Google Postmaster. This will give you insights on what's actually happening with these sending domains. So I would check that out. I haven't really done it. But I know this is a brand new tool that they're using. I'll probably read more upon that, and kind of it does show you kind of like your spam rate, IP reputation, feedback loop. It does a few things, right? So that's something to look into. Let's go over here. This is another one that actually is very, very big. I would definitely use this on all your emails, especially if you're doing cold emails. A lot of people like to, create these emails for cold email outreach, but sometimes the simple keywords as like free gift, a free review, free audit, a gift, all these, special pricing, anything when it comes to cash money, all these are spam filters, right? All these are spam words. So immediately you can be, sending to your people, but if you're using these little spam words, a lot of the times you're going to start hurting yourself over time, and then eventually you're going to spam, right? Like this is a quick little, website here to test for your spamminess, right? I would definitely do this. Super easy. I'll probably do another video on this just to see how it actually, how to actually, use it. But even here, you can even do other things like SPF and DKIM check. This is another one just like DMARC that you can do. But I would definitely use this site to just make sure your emails don't sound like spam or spammy. It's like that, you can avoid the spam inbox even more. Cool. Here is the email sending recommendation for multiple stages and warming up your dedicated email domains, right? So as you can see here, if you just start up, don't do more than 1,000 cents in a day. The hourly, keep it at under 100, and then from there, as you are warming up your list, you can go a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. But I would definitely read this through and kind of see how you can warm up new dedicated domains when you do start up, right? Super big. And then of course they do have like 10 full on. We kind of went over this already, a few of this already. So for example, dedicated domain, we went over how to set it up, right? IPs, if you're going to get it, if you're sending more than 200,000 emails a week, that's not a lot of you, but definitely how to do it. Enable validation. This is within inside the actual company. I can show you how to do that. That's kind of this picture right here. Where inside your business profile, if you scroll down to the right hand side, you're going to see there mark emails invalid due to hard bounds and validate emails. Make sure those are turned on. DMARC, we kind of talked about this already. The from email we talked about. Adding unsubscribe links inside your emails is also a good thing. Like that, they can crawl your email and make sure that, okay, you can unsubscribe. This one, I don't really like the double opt-in. I don't like that. Stop sending to unengaged emails. This is very big in regards to having a big list, right? Look at the activity, right? If people are not, opening it up at all, they're not taking any action, don't keep on sending to it, because this actually, this is all tracked, right? So definitely do that. Send regularly, not too regularly. This is like a little catch-22, but basically don't do that much, which, like I said, if you're doing real email marketing, you're going to send regularly, and eventually you're going to go to spam, right? You just got to be ready and know what to do. So like that, you can create a new dedicated domain with a new subdomain, warm it up, or have already email dedicated domains warmed up. So when they do, you already can just switch it out. This is kind of like the way I think about it in regards to emails. So I'm going to link this here. I would definitely recommend all of you, if you're serious about rocking this and, basically really taking your email deliverability to the next level, read through this whole entire thing. It's definitely going to help you for sure. Implement the things that we talked about in this video. So this is one of those things where I was actually going to, I've been thinking about, I've been starting to research on this one tool. It's actually this one right here. Instantly, I heard a lot of good things about this tool, and I wanted to show it to you guys. I haven't actually used it just yet, so I don't know if it's 100% good or not, but I've heard people had success with it in regards to deliverability. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on it. If you guys want to, it basically will, from what I have heard, will warm up emails for you, change emails, have different emails for you. So like that, deliverability, you're always really, really good. And the pricing isn't that crazy. I think, you can do something like this, $30 a month. I've heard that basically the monthly, the one that you want is this one. But I have to test it, and I will get back to you guys in regards to if it's good or not. But if you guys definitely wanted to do a little bit more research, I'll put the link here so like that you guys can do your own research and see if it's worth it or not. All right. And that's about it. Mike, I hope this helps. I would definitely do the dedicated domain. I would definitely start, warming them up and seeing if that does better than the Gmail SMTP. Okay. Knowing that, if you guys have any other questions, there's actually a few kind of videos that I am already getting from this one that I want to do. But if you have any other questions, let me know, right? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.